Hello everyone, my name is Jamila and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. So I'm going to be doing a series of the sun in all the houses, so ranging from the first house into the 12th house. So feel free to look at my other videos, at my other contents in regards to synastry and just natal positions in astrology. But first and foremost, I want to start off by talking about an introduction to the sun and synastry. So in astrology, the sun shines its light on the house it occupies. But we must be mindful that whilst the sun can energize and enlighten, it also has the power to cause harm. So for example, just like how plants can thrive under direct sunlight, not all will flourish, some will wither and die, So for an example, a cactus plant will thrive in direct sunlight, whilst a spider plant will not do well in direct sunlight. It will literally shrivel up. So my point here is to take into consideration that there are both positives and negatives when it comes to, the sun and where it's positioned in a house in synastry. So like with most things, there's an opposite and then there's also a balance that needs to be harnessed when it comes to the sun's energy and its effectiveness. All right. So each house in astrology represents a different facet, of life. And of life. And the sun's impact can widely it can impact us depending on its placement, and what house it is positioned in regards to synastry. But most importantly, as I'm sure you may, or maybe you aren't, or you are aware, that when it comes to looking at an individual's synastry, first and foremost, we have to look at the individual's chart to gain a deeper, in-depth understanding of how this will play out, because everyone's situation will play out differently, even if there are similarities in regards to synastry, because no one's chart is the same. Even for twins and triplets, it's going to be different. Okay, seconds, minutes, it all makes a difference. Okay, so anyway, so to give you an example, for instance, now say the sun is in the first house in synastry. This can illuminate one's identity and self-expression, fostering confidence and personal growth. However, it can also lead to an overemphasis on the ego, because the sun is the self, the sun is ego. So this can have an emphasis on, again, the ego and someone's self-importance, So, with that example, with it being in the first house, it can be a case of the sun being self-absorbed, being selfish, Whilst on the other spectrum of it, it can be someone boosting someone's ego, because we all have an ego, but some of us, we have an ego that sometimes it is non-existent, and we all need to have a certain level of a healthy ego. But anyway, now in the 7th house, the sun can bring warmth and vitality to partnerships and relationships, because this is the 7th house. It's ruled by Libra, Venus. So with this dynamic in the 7th house, it encourages mutual understanding and cooperation, meeting in the middle, because that's balance, that's the 7th house. But yet it may also introduce power struggles or an imbalance of attention between two partners. Okay, sorry, between partners, shouldn't say two partners. Anyway, likewise in the 10th house, the sun can energize one's career. It boosts. Okay, but like I said, it can also be an indication of finish off first. Like I said, it can boost one's career, the public image, the driving ambition and success. But on the other hand of it, it can also lead to workaholic tendencies, a relentless pursuit of status at the expense of one's personal well-being, of the other, because this is synastry, so it's the interaction of the other. And then, so my point here is that by being aware of these dynamics, it can help us to navigate the interplay of energies in the astrological charts. So, just like with all things, it's just understanding the dual nature of the sun's influence, and it allows, us to maximize its benefits, but also mitigating the potential drawbacks. So looking at the pros and the cons, the negatives and positives, or, because there's always a shadow side to each house and where one planet is, but we're talking about the sun. So we're embracing both the light and the shadow aspects of the sun placements. So it can lead potentially to a more holistic and fulfilling experience. So with you understanding this introductory to how it can play out, so you understand that with all the 12 houses from the 1st to the 12th, there are positive and there are negative. So things won't always play out in the most beautiful or in the most amazing dynamic. It all depends on what's going on with your chart and how you and another individual's charts interact. But without further ado, let me jump in to the sun and the position of the house I'm talking to for this audio. When the sun falls into someone's 7th house, this is a very significant overlay because this is your descendant. This is the opposite house to your ascendant. So this is very significant because there's not only a mirroring effect of the 7th house because it's the other, but also this person coming into your 7th house, they are essentially your other half, the other half to the piece of your puzzle, the yin and yang, the feminine and masculinity energy. And the reason why I say this is because, when it comes to opposites, ultimately they make a whole. It's like having, a circle and then you cut it in half and 2 pieces, they create a whole. It's like when you get those best friend chains and, you give one to someone of significance, whether it's your wife, husband, friend, family member, whoever it is that is important to you of significance, and then they complete you, so that's what I mean. So when this individual's sun falls into your 7th house, you will see this person as like, that's what Baba, sorry. You will see this person as, you're what I've been looking for, you're what I need. And this is not only, of course, for relationships, but obviously with friendships and partnerships, business interactions of the other. So, for example, say you own your own business and you're looking for someone with a particular skill because you lack in that area, then this person comes along and you're like, oh my God, you're just like what I need is what I mean. So this is a very significant overlay, very powerful, and then there's Venus involved because no matter what sign your descendant is in, it will always have that Venus energy, that Libra energy still hovering around. So when like I said, this is a very powerful and illuminating connection between two people, and it does often signify a relationship where the sun brings warmth, because it's the sun, vitality, and a sense of purpose. Because like I said, this is the descendant. It's really significant. Okay. So you will feel like a I think I already mentioned that, like a sense of purpose to the house person's life. So this aspect can foster a partnership that is not only significant but also deeply enriching for both parties, because you're both benefiting from this overlay. You're both experiencing this overlay in an equal manner. But of course, which I'll talk about later on, it could also be a situation where one feels entitled, there could be power struggles here, but I'm going to go and speak about that later. But what I'm going to talk about now is that this aspect can foster a partnership that is not, what was I going to say? I've lost my train of thought. There we go. The sun person, may naturally shine a light on the house person's needs, desires, and partnership dynamics, so it's encouraging them to grow and evolve in the relationship. Like I mentioned earlier, it's like that missing piece to a puzzle. You'll feel this will be like your ideal relationship, whether it's a business partnership or just a friendship. If it is a friendship, this is an individual where you will feel like, where have you been? Like, you're my best friend. Like, I've never felt this way. I feel so comfortable around you. You see me, like you see aspects of myself that I know is there, but I can't draw out myself. But you help me to draw those parts of me out. So yeah. And there is a strong mutual attraction. Even if it isn't a relationship, there will be some sort of admiration, like some, what's the word I'm looking for? You'll feel drawn to one another, And as the sun obviously represents one core's identity and life force, while the 7th house is associated with committed partnerships, balance, and harmony. So this synastry aspect is particularly beneficial for long-term relationships, as it can create a foundation of mutual respect and admiration, because it's mutual. Like, it's like a mirroring. The feelings are mutual often than not here. And both individuals may find that they inspire each other to be the best versions of themselves. And the sun person can help the house person to see their own potential and worth in a new light. But like I mentioned earlier, which I'm going to talk about now, it's very important, because remember, this is the 7th house. It's a Libra house. It's very important for both parties to maintain balance, to ensure that the sun's person's influence doesn't overshadow the house person's individuality, because regardless of where the sun is in all the 12 houses, the sun is very powerful, and of course naturally it's ruled by Leo. So sometimes Leos, as you know, can be quite self-absorbed. It can be very like me, so this can happen in the 7th house, where one person feels entitled to have the power, or they overshadow the house person, But of course, this can play out both ways. It all depends on what's going on in the person's chart and what's going on individually in their own charts as well. So that there needs to be a balance of an equal give and take, because in this situation as well, usually one, if not both people, will be like, oh, like I can give them what they need and they can give me what I need. It's like a mutual thing. But usually, when it's handled with care, and there's like a mutual understanding, the sun 7th house synastry can lead to a very like deep, fulfilling, and transformative connection that can stand that can stand the test of time. You know, this is the kind of person that you could potentially marry, you know, or depending on what's going on, you both may not even believe in marriage, but you may have like an agreement. Maybe you won't sign that marriage certificate, but maybe you'll commit in a way where you have this serious promise with one another. Maybe, you know, one of you guys may still buy a ring, but you may not actually walk down the aisle, you know. It all depends, like, what's going on, because if you have Chiron here, for example, this could be a situation where one person doesn't believe in traditional marriage, you know. It just all depends. But yeah, this is a very good synastry interaction because, of course, like I said, it's not just for romantic relationships. It can enhance friendships and business partnerships, but communication is very key here so that both partners feel valued and heard, and also to prevent like unnecessary imbalances, you know. But with you guys, but with the two involved, by focusing on an open dialogue and shared goals, the partnership can flourish, and it can create, you know, a environment where dreams and ambitions can be pursued, because dreams and ambitions can be pursued here because it is a business. Business falls underneath this house. So you guys could build a business together, you know, whether that's a restaurant, or maybe you guys could open up like an art store, because this is a Venus house too, you know, but it will play out differently depending on the sign, you know. But most importantly, the core lessons here are about cooperation, compromise. That's to do with the 7th house, you know, and nurturing each other's strengths. Because like I said, if the 7th house, where one person lacks, the other will be stronger, you know. But overall, you know, it's a very beautiful interaction, and can be a powerful partnership, and it has the potential to be incredible when these two people come together. But there has to be respect there, and a middle ground and a shared vision. Otherwise, you know, because this is the 7th house. It's about you and I. It's a shared experience. So if it becomes the 1st house, you know, oh, I want things my way, it's just not going to play out in the way that or it could be a situation where you both have power struggles. It's just a power struggle, you know. But yeah, especially if like Pluto is involved as well, you know, maybe you've got Pluto in the 7th house too. It all depends. But I'm going to leave it there. Take care, guys, and I'll speak to you guys soon. All the best. Bye.